Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome. Hi, welcome dear Voltage. Hello dear Voltage. How are you? Here is a good name. Hello dear Pronto. Here is yours. How are you? Welcome everyone. How are you all? Hope you are all doing well. Have a good day. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Hey Nightbird, how are you? Welcome to the live comments. Your beautiful names. Hi, welcome. Hi Sadek, how are you? Here is yours. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Sadek. Can you guys hear me? Oh, yeah, I thought that it was mute. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear DA. How are you? What a unique name you have. Welcome. Sadek, brother, don't do this. Hello, dear Hannah. Here is a good name. How are you? Hi, dear Inosuke. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Sachin. Here is yours. You're most welcome. Sachin. I forgot the A. Hi, dear Sachin. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Raima. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Jamre. Here is yours. Hi, dear Glades. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Kaylee. Here is yours. Hello, dear Habiba. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Samriti. Here is yours. Blessy. Hello, dear Blessy. Here is a good name. Yay. Hi, dear Ninja. Here is yours. Hello, dear Hinata. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Aryan. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Roshi. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Tanzin. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Rana. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Mastery. Here is yours. Hi, dear Jamie. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, Shadia. Welcome back. Here is yours. Happy birthday, dear Anshika. Here is yours. Happy birthday to you. Hi, dear Faizan. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Soma. Here is yours. Hi, dear Shivani. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Eden. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Rajdeep. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Isha. Here is yours. Thank you for joining. Hello, dear Kaushik. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Rosida. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anishka. Here is yours, Anishka. Hello, dear Sevda. Here is your good name. Hi, welcome. Hi, dear Lubaba. Here is yours. Hi, dear Haru. Here is your good name. Hello. Let's see who is next. Chat is stuck. Evias. Hello, dear Eve. Evas. Here is yours. Hello, dear Nuha. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Janvi. Here is yours. What's a good name, dear? Hello, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear Akshara. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Welcome. Hi, dear Shreya. Shreya. Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear. Hi, dear Aryan. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Nusrat. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, but please don't write your name in paragraphs, dear. Hi, dear Ninja. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Ellie. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear sweetheart. Hello, dear Logan. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. You're most welcome. Eller, here is yours. Hi, dear Alishba. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Hi, dear Farhan. Here is yours. Thank you so much. You are the cutest, dear. Hello, dear Saki. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Remas. Here is yours. Welcome back. How are you doing? Hi, dear Anjum. Here is a beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Sana. Here is yours. Hello, let me add a question. AKKA. Your favorite color? Let me add the question. Okay, it's done now. Hello, dear Carmen. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Ally. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ankh. Is this your name? Here is yours, Purple. Hi, dear Mahi. Welcome back. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Zoya. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much, dear Jaya. Hello, dear Inaya. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Himang. Here is a beautiful name. Ayansh. Thank you so much for subscribing, dear Ayansh. Here is yours. Hello, dear Iman. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Dolly. Here is yours. Hello, dear Black. Khalifa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Chai Young. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Don't forget to double tap on your screens. Hello, dear Shamsa. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Al Jazi. Al Jazi, what a unique name you have. Here is yours. Hi, dear Call. Here is yours. Thank you for subscribing. Hello, dear Amy. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Grisha. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, Red. Oh, nice. Hi, dear Unzila. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Samreen. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Mariam. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Shravya. Here is yours. How are you? Fine, good. Hi, dear Laiba. Here is a beautiful name. Manisha, welcome back, dear Manisha. How are you doing today? Have a good day. Here is yours. Hello, dear Hardik. Here is your good name. Hardik. Welcome. Hi, dear Isha. Here is yours. Hello, dear Kenzie. Here is your good name. How are you? Hello, dear Lena. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rana. Here is a beautiful name. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you. God bless you too. You too. Hi, dear Jenny. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear, for all the blessings. Hi, dear Purvi. Here is yours. Hello, dear Afifa. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Sri. Here is Walaikum Assalam. Hi, dear Safu. Here is a good name. Hello, sorry. Hello, dear Piyush. Here is yours. Thanks, you're most welcome. Jyoti is done. Neetu. Hi, dear Neetu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Bhuvan. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Maha. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hey, dear Adriel. Here is a good name. It's me, please. What's a good name, dear? Hi, dear Islam. Here is yours. Beautiful name. Hi, dear Sharon. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Asad. Here is yours. Hi, dear Noman. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Dear. Hi, did you see her reply to your Astaghfirullah comment? Have you read it? Yes, I have. Hello, dear Afan. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rano. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Ayan. Here is yours. Hello, dear Lashay. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Vanya. Hi, dear Vanya. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. Hi, dear Ayan. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rawasiy. Here is yours. Hi, dear Piyush. Here is a good name. Hi, welcome. Hello, dear Fatima. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Fahim. Here is yours. Farhim. Farhim or Fahim? Farhim. Here is yours. Hello, dear Yarek. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Bryson. Here is yours. Hi, dear. Yes, I am. Alhamdulillah. Lani. Nay. What's your name, dear? LAWWEENNY. So my WWW double N double Y. What a beautiful name you have, dear. Love me. Here is yours. Thank you. Let's see who is next. Hello, dear Gossi. Here is your. It is, but we haven't completed the milestone yet. Hi, dear Isla. Here is yours. Hello, dear Sama. Here is yours. What's your name, Ibrahim? Is your name Ibrahim? Hi, dear Musfira. Here is yours. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hi, dear Devesh. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Mandeep. Here is yours. How are you? Asad. Hello, dear Asad. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for subscribing. What's a good name, dear? Yirin. Hello, dear Yirin. Here is yours. Hi, dear Isla. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Maria. Here is yours. Thank you for joining. Hello, dear and other Asad. Here is yours. Hi, dear Amy. Here is a good name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button right there. Double tap on your screens. Hi, dear Luna. Here is yours. Hi, dear Amina. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Umaima. Here is yours. Hello, dear Abhinav. Here is a good name. How are you? I have replied to you. Orhan. Hello, dear Orhan. Here is you. Yes, it is, but we have not completed the milestone yet. This is the answer to you, dear Safu. Hi, dear Samir. Here is yours. Hi, dear Siarifa. Siarifa. Here is yours. My name is Ishal. Hello, dear Gabriela. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Hazer. Here is a good name. How are you? Why not? Double tap on your screens. Thank you. Yash Chopra. Hi, dear Yash. How are you? First time? Welcome here. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Gina. Here is yours. Hello, dear Sarah. Here is a good name, Black. Nice. Hi, dear Mariam. Here is yours. Mine is black too. Hi. Thank you. Hello, dear Nazrul. Here is yours. Thank you so much for your patience, dear Nazrul. Hi, dear Naila. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for the compliment. Hi, dear Maya. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ira. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Roger. Here is. Oh my God, Safu. सैफू आपको ही रिप्लाई किया था मैंने भाई। हेलो डियर फर्रा, माइलस्टोन कंप्लीट नहीं है वैसे मोनेटाइज्ड है, समझ रहे हो ना। हेलो डियर नोवा, हेयर इज योर्स। क्यों, क्या हुआ ऐसा। हे डियर रैवी, हेयर इज अ गुड नेम। Hi dear Flora, here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens. Let's see who's gonna be the 40th liker. If your name got done here, so please do like the live and don't forget to subscribe. Kirat, hi, welcome back, dear Kirat. How are you? Here is yours. Melania. Hello, dear Melania. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Roshan. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Banin. Here is yours. Hi, dear Kirat. Kirat is done now. अभी अभी लिखा था मैंने कीरत। चलो दोबारा लिख देते हैं आपके लिए, कीरत जी। Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next. Hi Musa, how are you? Hello dear Musa. Here is a good name. हाँ तो क्या बोलूँ मैं? I'm good. How about you? Hi dear Dave. Here is yours. Hello dear Aima. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Steven. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, Dee. Hi, welcome. कैसे हैं आप? Hi, dear Tuba. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Abed. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shreya. Here is a good name, Shreya. Hi, dear Valenzuel and A. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, dear. Let's see who is next. Lily. Here is yours. Nightboard. He's Nightboard board. Hi, dear Essen. Here is yours. Hello, dear Rockin. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Ankita. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Manal. Here is a good name. Mine is too. Favorite color is always black. Hi, dear Ali. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ishal. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Asghar. Here is yours. How are you? It is a good name. Hello, dear man. What's a good name, dear Kaka? Hello, dear Kaka. Here is yours. Hello, dear Mulder. Here is yours. Hi, dear Havla. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, dear. Okay, dear friend. Cutie Pixie. Hi. Hello, dear Nia. Here is yours. Hi, dear. What's your name? Kinuri? Here is yours. Hi, dear Gitiara. Here is yours. Angel. Hello, dear Angel. Here is a beautiful name. How are you? Hello, dear Galina. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Nikita. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to double tap on your screens. Helena. Hi, dear Helena. How are you? Hello, dear Helena. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Sophia. Here is yours. Hello. Okay, I remember this thing, dear Sefu brother. Hi, dear Afiha. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Mahi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Shalan. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Zoya. Here is yours. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button, guys. Hi, dear Basil. How are you? Here is yours. Hey, dear Celia. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Nehla. Here is yours. Is your name is Dayan? Or you wanna say, I don't know what is it, but this is yours. Hello, dear Reuben. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Nasser. Nasser, here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Puwaan. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ahad. How are you? Here is a good name. Hello, dear Nils. Here is yours. Hi, dear Nelly. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Aryan. Fuser was done before, man. Okay, here is yours again. Hi, dear Aisha. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Hey, dear Saba. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, Purple. Oh, good to know. Hey, dear Aggie. Here is yours. Hi, welcome. Hey, dear Fee. Here is yours. Isa. Hello, dear Isa. Here is a good name. How are you? Thank you for subscribing, dear. Hi, dear Zainab. Here is yours. Hello, dear Vanshika. Here is a beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Nice to meet you too. Hi, Beta. How are you? What's a good name, dear? Hi, dear ORS. Here is yours. Hi, dear Charlie. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Bia. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Sunny. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Dave. Here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens. If you're new, got done there. Don't forget to press the like and subscribe button. And it's too hot here. Tia. Hi, dear Tia. Here is yours. Hello, dear honey. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Jihan. Here is yours. Hello, dear Usman. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Nia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Kami. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Farrell. Here is yours. Hello, dear Fiona. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Luna. Here is yours. Hi, dear Maya. Here is a beautiful name. Hello, dear Aryan. Here is yours. Hi, dear Anya. Here is a beautiful name. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you so much. Satyam. Hello, dear Satyam. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Shabana. Here is a beautiful name. Shabana. How are you? Hello, dear Amy. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Hema. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shifa. Here is a beautiful name. Thank you for subscribing. Hi, dear Malak. Here is yours. Hi, dear Leticia. Here is a good name. Sana, what happened? Oh, you're most welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear Sarah. Here is yours. You're most welcome. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Hi, dear Mustafa. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hello, dear Abhishek. Here is yours. Thank you for joining. Hey, dear Anna. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Manas Sahib. Man Sahib. Here is yours. What a unique name you have. Hi, dear Aleph. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Nikita. Here is yours. Nikita. Welcome. Hi, dear Elisa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Vasav. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Iman. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Zinira. Zinira. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Double tap on your screens. Hi, dear Ali. Here is yours. Wow, good to know. Hey, dear Delta. Here is yours. Hi, dear Teresa. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Tanishka. Here is yours. Tanishka. Hi, dear Shubi. Here is a beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Azura. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ismail. Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you. Oh my god, thank you so much. Lots of love. Hello, dear Z Lola. Here is yours. Hi, dear. Thank you, Addison. Addison, here is a good name. Thank you so much. Hi, dear Inara. Welcome back, dear Inara. How are you doing? Here is yours. Hi, dear Nicole. Here is yours. Thank you so much, Asad. Means a lot. Hi, dear Kenza. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Rajveer. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Jimin or Jimin. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ira. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Sheetal. Here is yours. Yeah. Hi, dear Amna. Here is a beautiful name. How are you? Elmi. Hello, dear Elmi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Shweta. Maggie. Just give me 1 minute. WETA. Hi, Maggie Alantaga. Keep up the good work. Write my name. Welcome back, dear Maggie. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining, dear. It is a good name. Have a good day. Yes, I said. Hi, dear Rudra. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Rumi. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Abdullah. Here is your beautiful name. You're most welcome. Hey, dear Amel. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sheher Bano. What a beautiful name you have. Sheher Bano. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Double tap on your screens. Let's see who is next. You're most welcome. Hi, dear Raisha. Here is yours. Hi, dear Abrik. What a unique name. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Bye. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Have a good day. Hi, dear Pasini. Here is yours. Hey, dear Medina. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Mia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Raktim. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ayushi is a good name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button there. Let's see who is next. Hamza. Hi, dear Hamza. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Shivangi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Lail. Here is yours. Hello, dear Banu. Here is a good name. Yellow. Good to hear. Banu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shama. Here is a good name. Yes, Safu. Hi, dear. Let's see who is next. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Nabi. Hello, dear Nabi. Here is yours. Hello, dear Alia. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Hiram. Here is yours. How are you? Golu? Golu Molu cute potato. Here is yours. Hi, dear Aksh. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Wakar. Here is yours. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Hi, dear Yumna. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Ian. Here is yours. Hello, dear Rohit. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Wacht. Welcome back. How are you? So sorry, guys. Let me drink some water. Zahra. Hello, dear Zahra. How are you? Here is yours, Bella. Hey, dear Carmen. Here is yours. Her name is Bella. Hey, dear Taiba. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Ria. Here is yours. Hi, dear Jacoby. Here is a good name. Red. Oh, nice. Thank you, Stella. Hi, dear Stella. Here is yours. Hello, dear Sweet Murky. Sweet Murky. Here is yours. Hi, dear Jess. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Navia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Black. Good to know. Lela. Here is a beautiful name. No, she. She is more cuter than me. Hi, dear Ali. Here is yours. Hi, let's use next. Ilya. Hello, dear Ilya. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for staying here. Hello, dear Vivian. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Let me check the spelling. E-double-N-E. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Rishma. Welcome, Rishma. How are you? Here is your good name. Hi, dear Amara. Here is yours. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hi, dear Arumi. Here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens, and there is our subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Twinkle. Hi, dear Twinkle. Here is yours. Blue and pink. Nice. Fahima. Hello, dear Fahima. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Izan. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Ria. Hey, dear Ria. Here is a good name. Thank you for subscribing. Hi, dear Sophia. Here is yours. Hello, dear. Welcome back, Amatullah. How are you? Here is a good name. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you. Hey, dear. Huh? Saros. Here is yours. Let's see who's gonna be the 16 liker. Let's see who is next. Iman. Hello, dear Iman. Here is yours. How are you, dear? Asad. Hey, dear Yazi. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Hi, dear Nasser. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shiny. Keep shining always, dear Shiny. I want to put a star with your name. If you don't mind. Fine and thanks. Oh, good to know. Thank you. Sinar. Hello, dear Sinar. How are you? Here is yours. Merhaba. Hi, dear Maria. Here is yours. Hello, dear Levy. It is a good name. Hi, dear. Ayana was done before, dear. Okay, here is yours again. Hi, dear. Favorite color is blue. Oh, good to know. Brabowo. Also, I think your cat might be. Why? Why are you saying this? Hey, dear Ahmed, here is yours. Hello, dear Ariba. Here is a good name. I am not cute, dear Sefu. Hi, dear Rita. Here is yours. देखा उन्होंने क्या बोला? Hi, dear Yuri. Here is yours. Me, please. What's a good name, dear? Hello, dear Bahlil. Here is yours. अरे फिर से है नहीं कैसे दिखाऊं मैं? Double tap on your screens. Ani. Hello, dear Ani. Here is yours. Farhaj. Okay, dear Farhaj. Here is yours, guys. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button there. Nasu. Hello, dear Nasu. Here is yours. Hi, dear Hishi. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Let's see who's next. Let's do this. Pink. Good to know, Rian. Hi, dear Rian. Here is yours. Thank you for joining, guys. Damini. Hi, Damini. Welcome back. 6-1. Go for it. We are literally stuck. Hi, dear. Hey, thank you, bye. Justina, here is yours. Hi, dear Rupam. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Amina. Here is yours. My name, let me check. My name is Ahana. Thank you so much, Ahana. Here is yours. Amin, thank you. Thank you so much, Asad. Hi, dear Rizwa. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Gibran. Here is yours. नहीं सफू भाई कुछ भी नहीं. Hi, dear Fatima. Here is yours. फातिमा अल्लाह माफ करे ये क्या कर रहे हो मत करो ऐसे कमेंट. प्रगति. Hello, dear Pragati. Here is yours. इतनी तारीफ नहीं करो please. Hi, dear Luna. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Let's see who is next. Olive. Hi, dear Olive. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shaurya. Hi, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear. ज़्यादा हो रहा है असद भाई. कोई बात नहीं. Let's see who is next. Zoe. Hi, dear Zoe. Here is yours. गर्मी लग रही है यार बड़ी सख्त आज. And let's see who is next. नहीं सभी सबको ही बोलती हूँ मैं. ये मेरी आदत है. Hi, dear Yasmin. Here is yours. Hi, dear Emilia. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Ruman. Here is yours. Nai, thank you. Hi, dear Yellow. नहीं कैसी language है astaghfirullah. Aaron. Hey, Aaron. How are you? Hi, dear Sabit. Here is a good name. Thank you so much for subscribing. क्या? मैंने देखा नहीं. Shehzad. Hi, dear Shehzad. Here is yours. Thank you so much for subscribing. Oh, मैं ठीक हूँ हाजिक भाई. शुक्र है आए हो कोई तो आया है. आप कैसे हो? Here is yours. Hi, dear Faiza. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Hazem. Hassan, welcome. How are you? Oh, जेठालाल का दोस्त अमूल भाई, welcome back. कैसे हैं आप? Hi dear Aiza, here is yours. Hana, Malaika. Hello dear Malaika, here is a good name. Hello dear Sarah, here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, thank you. Nida, why are you so sad dear Nida? Here is yours. अमूल भाई स्पैम तो मत करो, आ गए हो आप तो. Hi dear Fatima, here is yours. Hi dear Dihar, here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Hi dear Imran, here is a good name. नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं. Hello dear Bruno, here is your. अमूल भाई moderator वाली आईडी से आओ. आजिक भाई को moderator बना दो, मेरा ऐसा दिल कर रहा है. वालेकुम अस्सलाम. मुझे पता आपका नाम सलाम है. पिछली दफ़ा भी आपने ये बोला था और मैंने वालेकुम सलाम बोल दिया था. Hi dear Farhan, here is yours. सैफू भाई आपने सैफू आपने क्यों ने वीडियो नहीं देखी है ना, वो देख लेना ना, उसमें मैंने बताया है. Hi dear Rafael, here is yours. Hi dear Sayu, here is a good name. क्या मैम, अभी मेरा फ़ोन मेरे साथ नहीं है. इस वाले आईडी पे दे दूँ आपको मैं? नहीं, चलो रहने दो, मैं खुद ही मैनेज कर लेती हूँ. Hi dear Lydia, here is a good name. Hi dear Lokesh, here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Anita, hi dear Anita, here is a good name. Hello dear Hina, here is yours. अमोल भाई, मौजूद भाई का कुछ पता है किधर गायब है वो? Hi dear Maya, here is yours. Hello dear Sarah, here is a good name. ऐसी बात मत करो ना, फिर मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगी कमेंट. Hi dear Jazim, here is yours. Hello dear. लोगों का फेवरेट कलर जान के आपको क्या करना है? देखना है कि मेजॉरिटी को कौन सा कलर पसंद है. अभी तक ज़्यादातर पर्पल और ब्लैक ही आया है, और दोनों ही मेरे फेवरेट कलर आपको पता है. Hi dear Hope, here is yours. It's your Hope J Hope. Hi dear Agatha, here is a good name. मुझे भी ब्लैक ही पसंद है. अच्छा. Hi dear, क्या नाम था? Let me check. JAWEH. Here is yours. Oh wow, सच्ची मेरा भी फेवरेट है ना? देखा मेजॉरिटी को. I actually cook pretty well. Maybe one day I should prove it to you. एक तो मुझे इसकी बातों से बहुत ज़्यादा ना, नाम बोला मेरा. क्या नाम है आपका बताओ? Hey dear Abhay, here is yours. Hi dear Shakil, here is a good name. अमू भाई का कमेंट ही मेरे से मिस हो गया. क्या लिखा हाजिक भाई इन्होंने? Hi dear Kalyani, here is a good name. Keep smiling. Shakil, hi dear Shakil, here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens, have to complete 75. अमोल भाई ने लिखा है कि उनका फेवरेट कलर मिल गया. अच्छा, जान के बोला, इनको पता है मुझे नहीं पसंद पिंक कलर, है ना? बड़े तेज हो अमोल भाई. Hi dear Meena, here is your. फिर कब करवा रहे हो अपने बाल पिंक? Hey Anthony, how are you? Black and purple. Now I understand your vibe. A little classy, a little dangerous. I think those colors suits you a bit too well. My name is, oh my god, too much long. Can you do that please? Sorry dear cubics. There is, क्या? Thank you for subscribing. Hi dear Raina. Here is a good name. कह रहे हैं मेरे बाल पहले से पिंक है सच में हाय डियर योगिता हियर इज योर्स तो डीपी में हमने आपकी देख लिया था hey dear lavish here is a good name hi dear Gaia here is yours हमने आपकी डीपी में देख लिया था dear Anya hi dear Anya here is yours dear cutie pie hello dear Bhavya here is a good name how are you hello dear Murad here is yours Merhaba, Nelson. Hello, dear Scene. Here's a good name. Thank you. Let me check the spelling. Anaya. Okay, dear Anaya. Here is yours. You have such a lovely name. I am fine. Good to hear. Hi, dear Regina. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Oh, Amul Bhai, please don't spam. Rina, here is yours. Amul Bhai, you are a moderator. And you are still spamming. Hey dear Stella, तो फिर बाकी ऑडियंस का तो क्या ही करेंगे आप ही स्पैम कर रहे हो भाई RYLIE स्पेलिंग भूल जाता है मुझे स्पैम इतना करते हो आप अमल भाई really here is yours Anvi hi dear Anvi here is yours नहीं भाई असद hi dear Majid welcome back how are you here is yours hi dear Rice here is yours hello dear hero here is a good name hi dear THAYME here is yours क्या नहीं लिख रही मैं अभी आपका फेवरेट कलर कौन सा है अभी अभी मैंने यही तो बताया था हाजिक भाई क्या हो गया क्या नाम है आपका बताइए ना Vaishu, hello dear Vaishu, here is yours. You're most welcome dear, so good to have you here, thank you. Hi dear Sama, here is yours. Kertu, hi dear Kertu, here is yours. Don't write your name in paragraph, ठीक है अभी तो Q&A नहीं देखा उसमें बताया था मैंने Hi dear Kavya, here is yours. मैंने बताया था black and purple and maroon too. Hey dear Udin, here is yours. Oh my god, Ahmed, please don't write your name in paragraphs, dear. Noted. Ahmed and Muhammad. Here is yours. Hi, Arisha. Hello, dear Arisha. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Krupa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Gujranwala से dear. अरे इतना लंबा कमेंट किसने किया ये हाय आई एम ओल्या from Russia and I love you all. I also have a YouTube channel and I love to see you all. Thank you for the stream. I have been watching it. You're most welcome dear Olia. Keep growing. मैम मेरे फ़ोन में चार्ज ख़त्म हो गया है इसलिए यहाँ से आई हूँ आप आ गई हैं अब तो फिर स्पैम तो मत करो ना शाना हाय डियर शाना हियर इज़ योर्स अमूल भाई आपका आई अभी भी ठीक नहीं हुआ ना Mahi, hello dear Mahi, here is yours. Hello dear Salsa, here is your good name. Guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button there. Hi dear Tasmia, here is a good name. Hello, I am Grace. And I am 10 years old and I am a big fan of you. Hello. Hi, dear Grace. How are you? Do let me know where are you from, dear? So good to have you here. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, dear Mahi. मैम मच्छर काफ़ी ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं. हेलो हाय. छोटे छोटे बच्चे इतने अच्छे अच्छे कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स दे रहे हैं आपको, है ना? देख लो. Hi dear Mehrab, here is a good name. अरे अरे Mehrab, here is yours. You are from Indonesia. So good to have you here, dear. Thank you so much for joining. आप कहाँ से हैं? मैंने बताया अभी अभी पंजाब से. Hi dear Tanaya, here is a good name. Hello dear Muskan, here is yours. क्या लिखा था? खदीजा जी का कुछ लिखा था इन्होंने, बट मैं पढ़ नहीं पाई. Hi dear Sony, here is a beautiful name. Hi dear VD, here is yours. Hi dear Tanishka, no Tanishka. Tanishka, here is yours. Hi dear Kobil, here is a good name. Sefu, are you here? मैंने लिखा था महनाज. क्या खतीजा अभी का फेवरेट कलर ब्लैक ही है. ठीक है ठीक है. Mehrab, hello dear Mehrab, here is yours. Hi dear Jishan, here is a good name. Thank you for joining. Hi, welcome. Shakila. कहाँ गया? नहीं. SAIKSHANA. खतीजा जी का तो फेवरेट कलर ब्लैक होगा. अरे वाह, क्या बात बोली है. Hi dear Rayan, here is a good name. Hello dear Mariam, here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. You're most welcome, dear Didi. You're most welcome. Hi dear Batul, here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens. Afif. Hello dear Afif, here is a beautiful name. You're most welcome. Lisa, okay, dear Blink. Don't be sad. कैसा लिख दिया है मैंने यार. Here is yours. अरे नहीं, मेरा नाम विशाल है. उन्होंने बताया था पहले. कैसा इन्होंने यू टर्न दिया है ना. नसरुद्दीन, ओके नसरुद्दीन. Here is yours, Piku. Happy birthday, dear Piku. Hi, dear Tanya. Here is a good name. How are you? Hello, dear Sophia. Here is yours. Guys, double tap on your screens. Have to complete 100. Hi, dear Zia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Yasmin. Here is your good name. How are you? Hello, dear Hassan. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Zuha. Here is yours. क्या हुआ सद भाई? Hello. Thank you for subscribing. Likita. Likita. Here is yours. Hi, dear Simina. Here is a good name. हाँ है ना. Hi dear Kylie, here is a good name. Hi dear Fiza, here is yours. क्या क्या बोला? Hi dear Hanvika, here is a good name. Hello dear Ali, here is yours. क्या बोला? Hi dear Hurran, here is a beautiful name. Coffee. भाई और क्या? हाँ ना. समझ ही नहीं आई मुझे आपने क्या बोला प्यारे भाई. Hey dear Sonu, here is yours. Hello dear. Let's see who is next. Oh, Hurran. Here is yours. Thank you for joining. हाँ क्या? ओफ अल्लाह माफ करे. Okay, let's see who is next. Kavya. Hi dear Kavya. Here is a good name. Hello dear APO. Oh, welcome back. How are you? Let me check the spelling for you, dear Purple. Oh, good to know. Mine is too. Here is yours, Devora. Hi, dear Devora. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Asil. Here is yours. Mera name. What's your name? Red. अरे अल्लाह क्या हो रहा है ये मुझे. Hi, dear Ace. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Kyler. Hi, dear Kyler. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Thank you so much. Hajar. Here is yours. सब पढ़ो ना. कमेंट पढ़ो. कमेंट नहीं पढ़े आप. You are from Uzbekistan. Lots of love, dear. Lots of love. Hi, dear Asia. Here is a good name. Ruby. Hi, dear Ruby. Here is yours. Yeah, I do, but इतना यूज़ नहीं करती हूँ मैं. इंस्टा पे इतना एक्टिव नहीं हूँ मैं, और ना ही कोई इधर कंटेंट पोस्ट कर रही हूँ आजकल. काफ़ी देर हो गई है. क्या? अल्लाह अल्लाह अकबर. Okay, guys, double tap on your screen. You have to complete 100, and let's see who is the next. मैं भी उर्दू बोलती हूँ. बोलिए बोलिए. Sabi. Here is yours. Oh, good to hear. Hi, dear Mudassir. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Tanya. Here is yours. Channel के साथ link है, dear. Hi, dear Sagana. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Here is yours. Thank you so much. Anika. Hello, dear Anika. Here is a good name. Thank you for joining, dear. ये ऐसा ही व्लॉग क्या हुआ है आपको भाई? क्यों ऐसे इमोजीज भेज रहे हो? Zahra. Hi, dear Zahra. Here is yours. अच्छा, thank you. ऐसा क्या? Hi, dear Aileen. Here is yours. क्या आप वहाँ पे रिप्लाई करती हो आप ही? मैं वहाँ पे एक्टिव नहीं हूँ, और मैं किसी की पर्सनल रिक्वेस्ट नहीं लेती हूँ. Hey dear Sanan, here is yours. हाँ, ही क्या? Rushna. Hello dear Rushna. Here is a good name. Double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. Sanan. Hi dear Sanan. Here is your broccoli. Yeah, what's your good name? इसलिए नहीं नहीं मत रोक लो मत चलने देना. Sonakshi, here is yours. How are you? एक और क्या नाम आप क्या नाम है बताइए ना. Hi dear Ayan, here is yours. आपकी आज आपके यहाँ खाना क्या बना है? जलते जलते बचा है. जलते जलते खाना बचा है आज. Here is yours, Zarun. Hi dear Akila, here is a good name. Hi dear, thank you. Sonu, here is yours. Hello dear Arshin, here is a good name. Three more, double tap on your screens guys. भाई ठीक जा रहा है. मैम कहाँ खोए बैठे हो आप? Hi dear Sunny, here is yours. मैंने इतनी स्लो आंच की थी उसकी, बट फिर भी ना ऐसे ही हुआ. बट बच गया, जला नहीं. जैद मैं नहीं बना रही थी. अस्तगफिरुल्लाह आसिक भाई. असद भाई आप क्या खिसक गए हो? क्या हो रहे हो ये? Hi dear Sanya, here is a good name. Hello dear Ruya, here is yours. Hi dear Swati, here is a beautiful name. Double tap on your screen, have to complete 100. 2 more, come on. यकीन नहीं आ रहा है. क्यों भाई? Umar, hi dear Umar, here is yours. अरे, hi dear Ivani, here is yours. Ilakshi, welcome back dear Ilakshi, how are you doing? Here is yours. Hello dear Sana, it is a good name. Okay dear Sarun, after this. Hi dear Hafsa, here is yours. Hello dear Wajiha, here is a good name. Hanji, Zaroon and Rushna. Rushna and Zaroon. Guys, double tap on your screens. One more, and then I am going to end the stream. Just one more like. Come on. Go for it. Hi, welcome. Islam. And last name. Sabrina. Lo. Thank you so much for joining everyone. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much for your precious time. And now it's time to end the stream. Since I heard your voice, I have stopped listening to songs and I have just keep replaying your voice in my mind. Crazy you are. Let's see. Thank you so much dear. And now it's time to end this stream. And रात में आएंगे. आएंगे 7 बजे. तब तक के लिए अपना बहुत सारा ख्याल रखिएगा. चलते हैं. बाय बाय. टेक केयर.